Before we really get into what makes a hyper-aggressive team hyper-aggressive, let's talk about the things that a hyper-aggressive team isn't. A hyper-aggressive team is not one that just clicks fake out, Dynamaxes, and rolls people over with the Airstream. If that's what you think hyper-aggression is, you're not really understanding the type of things that loses to. First of all, that would lose to like a fake out redirection, like a redirection terrained trick room, or a sort of like a speed control where, from like an inner focus mon, from like a Suicune or a Crobat. There's so many things that would lose to, right? It's a lot more in depth than just clicking fake out and Dynamaxing and one-shotting your opponent's Pokemon. Yes, hyper-aggressive teams do get a lot of one-shots, but what they actually are control teams that are made to bait opponents into maybe one or two optimal styles of play, and once you know what your opponent's going to do, they're basically playing into your hands because of how your team's built to condition them to do so. So I think the number one thing that you want to do whenever you're building a hyper-aggressive team is you can pick a popular team in the meta. This team's actually made to beat Rinja Sun, the popular Sun team of Groudon, Charizard, Zacian, Grimmsnarl, Gastrodon, and Cineroar. And you want to specifically pick a speed tier that you want to outspeed, right? That's the number one thing in a hyper-aggressive team. And you can say, well, I just want to outspeed everything. And that's not realistic, right? It's just not. It doesn't work that way. So the team that we have today, we'll take a look at the team. And we're going to talk about the speed tier that I chose to target, right? And how I changed what my Pokemon did and lured my opponents into a false sense of security with what I did. So you can see my items here. It's going to be Vested Rayquaza, Choice Specs Kyogre, Mental Herb Indeedee, Focus Sash Cinderace, Life Orb Whimsicott, which we'll get to in a minute, and a Thick Club on Marowak. Now, the speed tier that I've chosen to target when I built this team is anything slower than Whimsicott, right? Anything slower than Whimsicott. So that's going to outspeed things like Kyogre and Groudons. That's going to outspeed things like Kyurem, Palkias, Urshifus, Yveltals, Solgaleos, Charizards, Thundurus, Tornadus. All those Pokemon get outsped by what this team does correctly. And there's a specific reason why we're using the exact Pokemon on this team. Remember, our goal is to beat Sun teams. We want as many Pokemon that says, hey, that Gastrodon you have? You should probably bring that because we're going to mess it the heck up. While also having just enough stuff to dissuade, not dissuade people from going Lucky, but still enough stuff to deal with Lucky. That's why we are using a Marowak. Marowak also helps cover up for the fact there are going to be matchups where we have to let them get Trick Room up, and Marowak can underspeed Cali Ice and then one-shot it back. But how does this team really work? Like, why do we have a Cinderace? What does Cinderace even really bring to the table? Cinderace adds a little bit of coverage for Shadow Rider matchup with Sucker Punch, but it also has Ally Switch if we need it. And again, it's one of those Pokemon that conditions them into bringing Gastrodon. Cinderace does all of its work in the team preview. The way this team really works is, again, Cinderace is also Pokemon. I just want to state, we have like Marowak, Cinderace, Whimsicott. These are all Pokemon that bait our opponent and Rayquaza into freely using their Incineroar. We want to see Incineroar every single game. We would love it if they led Incineroar and something slower than a Whimsicott, because this team is tunneled, or it's made to tunnel them into going with that. So what we're going to do here with this team, thank you for the follow, we want to go Whimsicott, right? We have Prankster Whimsicott, we're going to be Life Orbing it, but you can see, look at our moveset here. We can Tailwind if we have to against things like Lucky and Shadow Rider so they don't decide to lead Fake Out. But if they want to lead with any Fake Out user, we Dynamax the we Dynamax the Whimsicott and pass the Airstream to the Kyogre, who remember is Choice Scarfed and can just one-shot everything. So again, remember how I made that analogy about like, take a look at everything like it's a chess piece, right? Let's imagine Whimsicott as a bishop. Well, a normal Whimsicott, focus Sash, Protect, maybe like Taunt, Tailwind, maybe Moonblast or Energy Ball, something like that. This Whimsicott, instead of being a bishop, we've turned it into a queen. This Whimsicott is now the piece that unlocks the full potential of the rest of the team, while also forcing them to respect what a regular Whimsicott does. So it's broadening the scope of what Whimsicott does. So like a standard variant, if we saw, let's say for example, we're going up against standard Sun and they go Incin Zard, they're going to get absolutely washed by this Whims because I'm going to max it airstream their Zard, and then I just kill both of them with Water Spout, right? So, like, that's an example of we lulled them into that false sense of security, and even if they wanted to switch in Groudon, they're going to switch in Groudon versus Array, and even if they do switch in Groudon, I switch in Array, then you lose both their Mons. So, we're in a really, really good spot with this team where we actually can one-shot a lot of cool stuff, and actually the Zard would still go down if they switched in the Groudon, and set the Sun. It would still go down to the Airstream boosted by Life Orb and the Spec Spout from the Ogre. So it's a really, really cool calc that KOs all the Zards and stuff like that, while also doing almost all the HP of the Groudon. And if they switch in the, if they switch in a Gastrodon, well, cool, we have a Whimsicott that's just ready to one-shot everything. So I want to get you guys to understand that, like, a really good hyper-aggressive team takes into account all forms of, like, speed control and all forms of, you know, redirection and different sort of complex leads, and it does its best to deal with them by lulling your opponent into, like, respecting specific options. Like, they're respecting the Sash, Whimsicott, Tailwind. They're respecting the Entity Follow Me. They're respecting his potential Scarf on the Ogre paired with the Ray and stuff like that. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to take a look at some games that I actually played. I was laddering my alt account to Master Ball, and I just want to show you guys some of the games and show you guys how, again, this was just an idea I had, you know, and I figured I just wanted to make a video about it, and We'll talk about it. We're going to look at the replays that I have, and we're going to pause it. We're going to talk about it. It's going to be a good old-fashioned time. So we can see this is the first game that I played with this team, right? And so it's against Rinya's Sun. This is against the team that we're trying to beat. So you can see I've selected the order of Whimsicott, Kyogre, Indeedee, Ray. And there's a few different things that are really, really good about this, and a few things that are a little bit different. I'm actually going to go... Oh, something just happened. Give me one sec. There we go. Give me one sec. We're going to go back, and I'm going to talk about the order and stuff like that. So you say, I think Sogo is pretty solid when you don't max it. It's okay. Bodyguard's busted. Yeah, the Sogo is not bad, but it's like, realistically, you're just not going to see it, you know? How do you record your battles? I have a capture card. It's just like how I'm streaming it right now. And I record them and edit them and put them up here. So this guy's name is Owned You, and we're going to show him what happens when you try and bring Rinya's Sun versus this team. So note that I'm going Whimsicott, Kyogre. This gives me like 5 different options. If they want to go Zacian, I can just go Tailwind Spout. That's it, right? If you go Zacian, I can outspeed you, right? Same thing. If you want to go like Zard, Gastrodon, I have no problem just going Tailwind Spout. I don't care about proccing your Storm Drain. It really doesn't matter. If you want to go like a Groudon lead, you can have the Sun, right? If you want to go like Groudon in Sin, that's fine too. What are you going to fake out? You're fake outing my Whims because you want to stop the Tailwind. I can switch in either my Indeedee or my Ray. If I switch in my Ray, we're able to just spout you because we turn off your Sun, right? Easy peasy lemon squeezy, right? We have all the stuff that we need to win this matchup. And again, the biggest flaw with Rinya's Sun, if there was one, is that it lacks just a little bit of speed control. It needs Grim and Airstreams to have dynamic speed control, like really, really aggressive in-your-face speed control. And so you can actually just lead with Pokemon that are just a little bit faster and just keep the speed control right out of your opponent's reach. Like if you have a board that really disincentivizes them to bring Grim, they're stuck with like a base 100 Charizard and like a base 90 Groudon that usually doesn't have any investment. They're really, really reactive, and so we can punish that. It's called Rinya's Sun because that's the name of the guy who built it. So we're going to show how to absolutely destroy this team. Waddle, how's it going? I'm going to show how to absolutely destroy this team. And, again, this is like the first game that I played. But, yeah, this is the meta team right now. And I wanted to make this video basically just to show you guys that there is no, like, perfect, unbeatable team. Like, every team is going to have its weaknesses. Like, people are saying, like, how would you beat Solgaleo Palkia, right? And it's like, you don't have to metagame to beat that, but you should metagame to beat this one. And so, we're waiting for this to start. And so there's so many different things that can happen here. Like, let's say you're going to lead, like, Incin Zard, right? And you want to go fake out my Whims to stop Tailwind, and then an Airstream and or a Wildfire, which I'm baiting you into thinking is a good play. It's a good play. You stop my speed control, that means you win with Zacian. You win the game. It doesn't matter if there's a Kyogre on the board. You're basically trading, you know? And you can even go for the Airstream and the Kyogre to weaken it, but you see what they lead here, right? You see it? You see what they led? Do you guys see it? Yeah, a guy named Rinya made the first one. Chung made he won a tournament with it, but he didn't win. So, in this situation, if you're the opponent, you go fake out Whims, do whatever you want with your Groudon, because it looks like I messed up. And the team is made that way to bait them, right? It's like, oh no, it's Sunny. He's just gonna like click P-Blades or Fire Punch or something. Like, he thinks he's so safe. He's not safe. He's not safe. See, I'm thinking about it. I'm like, are you gonna fake out the Kyogre? No. And again, this is my first team. This is my first game. So like, I have to like figure out what I should be doing in these situations as well. I'm thinking about like switching out Ogre, going for Indie. This is the mix-up you can go in like games 2 or 3. But, you know, the real play at the end of the day here is just switching the Ray. And we're using a very fast Ogre. We're gonna turn off the sun. And yo, this guy's gonna be done. Like, there's absolutely, you know, nothing that they can realistically do. They could fake out the Ogre, right? But who does that? In reality, if the Ogre was doing anything, it would max, right? And this guy's probably thinking like, yeah, you switched in your Ray. Yeah, you got a double KO, but that doesn't mean that you win, right? The cool thing about this team is it's not really reliant on max. It's not. You can max a lot of Pokemon on this team, and it's like Kyogre, which is the team's win condition, is not something that you max very frequently. We're going to be maxing the Whim, the Ray, Marowak, things like that more often with this team. So both of their mons go down turn 1. That's the best team in the format. It just got destroyed. Now, I could have switched in a few different things. I could have done a lot of different stuff in that turn if I wanted to. Didn't have to. You have your Gastron? You still think you're hot stuff, huh? I think I was hot stuff too. Now remember, hyper-aggressive play. You would think that means hitting really, really hard, really fast. You don't see me using Scarf Ogre. You don't see me using an aggressive Ray. I'm using a bulky, vested Rayquaza. And I actually will be able to eat anything that this Zacian really throws at us. So we're thinking about it. We're like, all right. Because I'm like, the only thing is like, I'm EV trained to eat Adamant Zacian Behemoth Blade if I max here when I'm at full. And so I'm like, if he's Adamant, this is going to get a little bit dicey, right? But I decided to go for it. Because at the very least, even if you KO my Zacian there, I'd be able to, take KO my Ray, I would be able to get your Zacian so low that I'd be able to finish it off with the Monsai in the back. So, we're going to max the Ray. I'm sure you guys saw what move I clicked. And again, this Ray is made to soak damage. It's not really made to deal it, but it can deal it if it's 4 times effective. And for everyone saying, why didn't you just click Solar Beam? Ray's turning off the sun, so it's not even like it's really sunny. Had a few debates with friends about Ray's viability. Really cool to see its potential here. Yeah, Ray's a really good best of 1 mon. Really, really good best of 1. So you saw, we ate it, so it looks like he's jolly. And there's the Storm Drain. Look at this damage. Look at this damage. This is not in the rain. This is not in the sun. This is just neutral. Look at that. That's a lot. That's a lot of damage. And then it gets worse for you, buddy. The biggest overgrowth the world's ever seen. Yeet, delete, repeat. Solar Beam Ray. So, remember what we were talking about? Using your pieces, thinking like chess pieces. If Rayquaza was a knight, you know, we're changing the trajectory of what a knight would really bring to the table by making it like a bulky, vested, overgrowth spamming. Like we tunneled them into bringing that Gastrodon. We were ready. We switched in that Ray on turn 1. Remember, if they would have switched out the Incin and switched out the Groudon, and they would have had a board of like Incin Gastro, we would have had the exact same pin. We would have been just as good. And the game's over. It's that easy. It's just that easy. Rinja Sun and done. We didn't have to go fast. We didn't have to set Tailwind. We don't even have a fake out user. But we're still able to be aggressive by controlling. We're keeping the speed control just out of their reach. The only move they even used that game were fake out and 1 play rough. And that was it. So this is another game. This guy, I don't know what was up with this guy. He only had 1 restricted, right? You know, realistically, Regieleki should be a restricted. But take a look at this guy's team. He has starters and stuff like that. Very simple team, but Shadow Rider, pretty simple. I liked that they had like the 3 starters. That was kind of cool. And again, I'm playing it about like Great Ball 9, Great Ball 10 right here. So I'm deciding like, I don't want to get cheesed. And Sash Lecky can give this team a little bit of problems, but realistically, the Sash could be on so many of those mons. And we're just going to show them. We're going to show them what we think are Rillaboom teams in this game. We're going to show that this team is not just a one-trick pony with the Rayquaza switch-in. There's so many different things. Yes, we actually are Modest Ogre. You know, a Timid Ogre could outspeed by passing a +1 from like a Whimsicott Airstream, like outspeed Zacians and Shadow Riders. We actually lose a lot of KOs on Trick Room teams, which we'll get to near the end of this little thing that we're working on here. So I'm deciding to go with the Whims Ogre here. And the cool thing about Whims Ogre is if we can actually go for like Tailwinds because there's no fake out there user there. So we can just go Tailwind, Spout. When in doubt, just spout out. right? It's tunneling your opponent into bringing the right mons to condition stuff. But also, if that was like a Mosa or something like that, if they want to go Mosa, we could then like max the whims, airstream that type of thing, and then allow the Kyogre to outspeed the rest of the stuff on that team. It's really cool. Really, really cool. But we'll see what they want to do with. Obviously, this lead super pins Lecky while also respecting what Rillaboom brings to the table. So let's just, we're waiting for them, but there's only 6 seconds. So we're going on into it. Let me know if you guys like this sort of stuff where I like break down all the cool stuff. All right. Yo, we got a sub. I think someone subbed. It doesn't say who yet. Rilla could fake out. Rilla could fake out. Watch what happens. Who would Rilla fake out here? You know we have an entity switching in, right? We have an entity that can switch in. So they didn't lead with it, but remember, we have entity to switch in to take that away. The late night stream, that's right. So they lead Lecky Shadow Rider. Good stuff, right? One of them has to be sashed. Sash Lecky, they're going to lose one as well. So that's the thing. One of these guys is going to go down. And they see the air balloon on the Lecky, which, like, you know what? Go nuts. That tells me the sash on the Shadow Rider. I do not care about Shadow Rider. So in this situation, we just tailwind out. Love breakdowns and keeping up with your train of thought. Well, that's the idea. Got to get everybody up to my level. That's the plan, right? And then everyone can be better than me. But yeah, we're going to pop the Lecky, right? Clock the Shadow Rider sash. You're not going to get any KOs, and then I just win. I mean, it sounds really, really simple. Thank you so much, Snowfire, for the big sub. Appreciate it. E-Speed. Yeah, I thought that was really surprising. It's physical Lecky with E-Speed. Super, super cool. They're trying to just break sash, so it shows that they actually do know what they're doing. But big spouts. We still would have got the KOs on these guys if they E-Speeded the Kyogre. So we still would have got the KO on the Lecky. We still would have clocked the Calyrex sash. And you can totally go for an Astral, but it's not like it's really going to help you that much. So you're going to see what happens here. I do think that they might be going... Yeah. I don't remember if they KO our Whims. That's the thing. Yeah, Whims died. I'm happy to hear you guys like these videos, because, like, I work hard on them. I gotta turn this sound off right there. There we go. So, in this case scenario, remember what they had in the background was like, Rilla, gotta watch out for Rilla. Oh no, it's Rilla. Note that I didn't go Entity here, because I have a Tailwind up, and even though my Entity's min speed, if they went Rilla and I went Entity, we would lose. Because they would get their terrain up, and they would be able to fake out our Ogre, so we don't want that. Since you started Pokemon, have Pokemon strats been the same or usually change? They change every single gen. Every single gen, it changes everything. So, in this case scenario, we just went Cinderace just to bait. We could have just Sucker Punched that Shadow Rider, by the way. We don't have to care about Shadow Rider, like, at all. So, another thing about hyper-aggressive play is tunneling your opponents into maybe making 1 or 2 plays that play right into your hands, and then we're the ones that have the freedom to change what we're doing, right? We're the ones that can do a bunch of other cool stuff. Yo, Cab 5636 gifted 5 tier 1 subs. Yo, hopefully you're learning something out here. Oh my goodness, 5 tier 1 subs going to the very top. Yo, appreciate it. I'll put some subs up for that. But you can kind of see here though, right? How all of this was set up based basically off us seeing that the Lecky had a air balloon, right? Should Ray ability switch off Storm Drain? It doesn't need to. Ray can just KO it. But thank you so much for that sub. All the subs, 5 subs. That's way too kind. I really, really cannot say thank you enough. Oh, I think I paused it. Anyways, they're dead. Let's go back. Watch what happens. Here we go. I didn't see that it did that. There we go. So you can see there though, they can go for the big hailstorm. And I mean, yeet delete, that's that modest ogre difference out here. You're like, what if he was vested, okay? And it's like, alright, well, he's still gonna lose the Cali. That's the thing. It's like, you lose the Cali, and then remember what I have in the back? I have a Cinderace, right? So it's like, I'm taking away the rain, and then setting up a pin for Cinderace, right? Not that much that they can really do about it. Yeah, they still could have, like, maxed the rule and done stuff, but then we would have just went with Cinderace. And we had redirection and stuff like that. So you can see, like, easy peasy lemon squeezy. They have 1 mon in the back. What do you guys think it is? Man, I'm so lucky to get gifted subs. What a fortunate person I am today. We see the Inteleon. And we already saw the sash, right? So, in this situation, we just pop it like it's hot. Showcase the full moveset. We use the water attacks, we use the ice attacks, and the electric attacks. The full Monty of, like, what this team brings to the table. And you can max the Inteleon all you want. And you know what? If you were like a vested set or a bulky set, you might have been able to eat this, but you can't eat it because I use Helping Hand. Got just out of reach. That's what hyper-aggressive teams do. They keep the win conditions just out of reach. So it feels great, man. Yeah, I love, like, you know, playing games like this and then, like, analyzing the replays. I think there's so much cool stuff to gauge from it. And basically how this was all set up off, like, the team preview and the first turn of the game. You know, the sending out of Cinderace was very deliberate and to bait the Rillaboom to come out into... And if they didn't, I could have just Sucker Punched the Shadow Rider and they just popped whatever they brought out. If they would have brought the Intelligent right there, I just would have maxed and just went Max Lightning and Sucker Punched, right? Love to see the meta getting stomped. Yeah, this guy doesn't really have the meta, but we're going to beat a bunch more Sun teams right now. But yeah, I do think it was important to include that game because it just showed that the team has so many different usages. So against this team, a little bit more standard, right? You know, Sun, like Groudon Shadow Rider, a little bit standard, right? Let me just take a second here. I'm getting over a cold. Sorry. A little bit more standard here. But again, what does our team do? It really disincentivizes them from bringing grass types, first of all. That's one of the reasons why Marowak and Cinderace are so big. Venusaur is a great check to Kyogre. But who wants to bring Venusaur versus Ray, Cinderace, and Marowak? Not a lot of people, right? So really incentivizes them into going with things like Lecky, into going with things like Charizard and Shadow Rider, in addition to like Groudon and Sin. And we're hoping to see more in Sin Zard than like Lecky Groudon, but let's go into it and talk about it. I'm actually trying to remember what I lead with here. And I'm not going to lie, these games are going to get more crazy as we get going. I think I have like an hour's worth of games to go over. And this is just my Master Ball run on my alt account, showing like all the different cool stuff that this team brings to the table. And do I think this team's perfect? No, I do not think this team's perfect. But I do think this is a really, really good exercise in learning how to correctly pin opponents, play aggressively, and use Pokemon in different ways than they would normally be used. And that's the whole point of this exercise, is to familiarize ourselves with thinking outside the box and finding different, unique ways to beat standard stuff with stuff that looks standard in a non-standard way. It's so cool, and it's so rewarding. It's really, really rewarding if we ever get into the game. There we go. So let's see. The leads are going to be Calyrex Lecky. That's the fastest lead, right? That's the speediest boys, right? We just got done fighting this, right? Sun Team with Gastro's odd. It's fine. Like, I don't mind that it's not there, but like we can still beat it if it is. So, what's the play here? What do? You just spout out and hope that they're not Sash Lecky? Realistically, where would the Sash be on this team? Do you guys remember the team preview? Where would the Sash be on this team? Is it on the Lecky? Is it on the Venusaur? Is it on the Shadow Rider? What do you guys think it is? You know, that's another big thing about playing hyper-aggressively. You have to understand every single Pokemon's competitive standard movesets, item choices, things like that. Someone says Venu. I think there's... Do you think this could work in a best of 3? Hyper-aggression in best of 3 is hard to do, but definitely doable. But it's hard. I don't even recommend it. Like, I do not recommend it. See, you say Shadow Rider, Cali. Correct. I think there's a very, very high chance that the Sash is on the Cali. And that opens up like items like Magnet's Life Orb on Lecky, a Vest on Venu, or Vest on Groudon, stuff like that. You have to be able to correctly analyze like basically everything, right? If there was no Cali and that was like some sort of like Zacian, maybe the Sash would have been on the Lecky, and that would have been a little bit different. That would have been a lot harder to deal with. But since we can all but confirm that the Sash is on the Lecky, Sash is on the Cali, that means what is the Lecky doing? And the answer may surprise you. So they're maxing, right? They're maxing their Regieleki. Now, what are some common items on max Regieleki? What are some common sets? I'd say it's commonly built physical when they max. Does Scarflucky outspeed Cali and Zacian under Tailwind? It does not. You think Life Orb? I think Life Orb's pretty common. They go for the Protect. Okay. Good play. Nothing wrong with that. So we just go for the Tailwind. We are going to outspeed because our Kyogre set's made to do that, right? And then they're gone. You say Avioleki sometime. You scouted it out. This is actually an Avioleki that we one-shotted with a Water Spout. AV one-shotted their max AVmon. Yeet. Yeet. Bruh. You can bring that Groudon all you want. You already know where this one's going, right? You guys have seen this play before. Oh, it's so nice, right? And when you don't have the Gastron, like, it's just easy peasies. And they blew their max and everything, too. People always Dynamax and Lucky. Yep, that's one thing that you should definitely expect. Whenever you see the Lucky Shadow Rider lead, it's usually Max Lucky. Say hard disconnect? We're going to get some disconnects in a little bit. He's still playing. He's still here. He's just waiting. So we're thinking to ourselves, like, I can kill that Groudon. And remember what we analyzed. We saw the vest. That means the Groudon can't be vested, which means the Groudon can technically protect this turn. But we'll talk about what we need to do here. That was AV Lucky. Now, we're going to talk about it. We're doing replays. Yeah, we're doing replays. So we switch in. We're going to pin that Groudon. We're at least going to finish off the Shadow. We're at least going to clock the Shadow Rider Sash, because that's the only item here. And we don't know what Groudon is, but it's dead, right? So that's the Sash on this guy. Yo, thank you for the follow. Appreciate it. So Groudon's down, Lucky's down, Shadow Rider's at 1, and you're going up against now a vested Ray and Kyogre. Like, we're still fine. We're literally a Kyogre and a vested Ray. Like, look at that. This is a Shadow Rider, right? And we've mitigated one of the most popular Pokemon in the format into being a free win condition for us, right? Nice. And then the Incin, we already know what to do against that. Like, easy peasy. We haven't maxed yet, remember? You remember that? You know that we haven't maxed yet? Did you know that? There's no entity in the back. We're thinking about it. I'm checking my Ray's speed right now to make sure that the Ray outspeeds the Shadow Rider, because it's a very bulky side. I just wanted to make sure at +2 it outsped. So, yeah, we just go big damage. Max kill Incin. Because who are you fake out in? The Choice Bugs, Mon. And then we just KO there. If he protects Lucky and TR, he wins. The thing is, like, did you see what I had in the back? I don't think he would have won, because his team isn't made that way. Because I could have just maxed Ogre, because he didn't have a Gastro, right? It would have been a better play to do that, but remember, why would you Trick Room, though, right? Against a team like mine. Like, you can just roll it. You already have the control. If you protect Lucky and Trick Room, yeah, you outspeed the things that are on the board, but, like, I can use Protect and just switch too, you know? You could have gotten Encored in a Trick Room. There's so many ways that could have went badly, right? We let them think that they had control. And the reason why they thought they had control led to us winning. We're going to take a look at their team right now. So there's the Figgy and Sin. There's no Dynamax cannon in that one now. Big Groudon, Citrus, right? Venu with the Life Orb. Callie with the Sash. And Vested Lucky. One-shotted by a Spout. How would you guys say this team goes? This is a team that I see on my coaching sessions on Patreon. I see so many people say I have no idea how to deal with, like, Incin, Grim, Zacian, Groudon. It's so impossible, you know? They have no idea how to deal with this. And remember what our team's made to do. This team is a team that pins Pokemon with a base speed of less than 116. Yveltal is one of those Pokemon. Everything but the Zacian and the Lucky are one of those Pokemon. And things like Zacian and Alecki, they lose to Marowak, right? So this is where our team's going to start. We're going to start showing some good games now. This is going to be some real, you know, high-level stuff that we're going to start going into. Those were the freebies at the start. Now we're going to start talking about how to actually start abusing these teams and show you some really cool tech stuff that you don't see anywhere else. Are you even max speed Kyogre? No, I'm not. I'm not. Because you got to have some bulk, right? It's just enough speed to outspeed, like, Alecki's at +2. So, we go into this. This is a pretty crazy game, I think. But here we go. So we see Grim Yveltal. I was really hoping to see the Incin, but nothing wrong with Grim. And so, because it's Grim, I'm thinking, okay, they could definitely still have Fake Out. They could go Screens. And if they do go Screens, I'm pretty sure I brought 4 special attackers. So that's a little bit dicey, right? Screens could be... Light Screen is really, really hard. Is this team getting on Patreon? Yep, this team will be on Patreon on either tomorrow or a couple days. So we're thinking about it. Do you see what we're doing here? Did you see what we did? Bro, did you just see that? Did you see what we did? We just made plays. Plays for days. Let's pop off. Right? Normally, Yveltal just destroys Ogre. But does it? Does it destroy Ogre? Is this man ready to deal with the Dynamax whims? Yeah. So there's the light screen. There's the light screen. Interesting, because if you weren't, then that Lucky must not be full speed. No, I still outspeed the Lucky. I outspeed every single Lucky at +2. I have to, it's +2 that I need to outspeed it. I'm like 244. It's very, very close. So you can see, we get an Airstream boost. We pass it right to the Ogre, which allows it to outspeed the Yveltal. Yes, there's a light screen, right? But like, oh my gosh, look at this damage. Look at the damage. Do you see that damage? It's so big. Oh my gosh. At this point, like, I do not care. You're also not going to get the KO. Oh my goodness. Look at this heal. But like, you're still super pinned. You still have like nothing to really do here. And I basically just gave a Tailwind to my Ogre that doesn't ever expire. Bruh. And you're actually a little bit less, so I'm actually going to be able to get the KO unless you protect. So you have to switch, right? You have to switch there. Switch in the Gastron, take that big Airstream. Lose the Grim. Thunderwave misses. I got lucky. I'll say it. I did get lucky. Luckiest person in the world, that's +1. But you know what? I'm afforded that luxury by dictating play. And even if they did get that, you know, let's for example just say that they did stick that Thunderwave, and I KO their Grim here, a third Airstream would actually still make me faster than their Yveltal. So like the third air, like I still would have had the same calc. So it doesn't like the Thunderwaves. The only thing that's really stopping is my ability to get fully parried on the Kyogre. But you know, that's what you get for playing reactive, right? You're the one that had to, you know, you were forced into Thunderwave me because of, you know, my board stance. Dynamax one's broken. Yo, it's not even over yet, bro. Like, the truth is, we still out here. Look at this, like, bro. Oh, man. Like, yeet delete. We're thinking. We just want to make sure we got in the back. We have center, so we do have an 8 physical mon. If we need to sucker punch something, we can. But we're thinking. Because, like, I'm thinking if they're going to protect their Gastro. And I'm actually thinking to myself, like, because remember, they still have a screen up. They still have a light screen up. There is still a thing called a light screen on the board. You say Storm Drain's annoying? Is it? Is it annoying, or is it what I wanted them to bring in? Is this what I wanted? See that Max Mon? That's a waste. That's taking their Max, taking one of their slots, and taking it and throwing it in the garbage, right? Talk about playing right into what we're talking about here. I mean, yeet delete, let's go. I'm life orbed. I'm life orbed, bro. Bruh. What's my Ogre item? Yo, we're spexed. Put some respects on my name. And even though that's a Zash, even though there's a light screen up, that single target spout would have one-shot that Zacian. So you gotta respect it just a little bit. Easy. Easy. Swim's just chilling like a villain out here. Took their Max, took it through in the garbage. Nice Max though, bro. Appreciate it. So Yveltal comes back out. And again, all this was made possible because we used Whimsicott in a different way. Right? We used Whimsicott in a different way that allowed us to be this aggressive. And it allowed us to use a different sort of Ogre to change the way people treat the matchup. Our team on paper has no business winning this matchup if we want to play standard, right? But if we play it like this, it's easy. It's free. Free real estate out here. So we just pop another Tailwind now, just so we can make sure. We could have went for a Moonblast and just nothing like that, but I like this play. The Tailwind just secures that like the Ray and stuff like that can get the outspeed. The light screen's still up. There's still a freaking light screen up out here. Kyogre lives, thriving. That's that EV training. Like I said, I have like a few points in bulk. Just a few. And so they doubled into that slot just to make sure it went down. And now we just send out, I think it's sent out Ray. And then we just win. So pretty cool stuff. Yeah, I'll just take a sip of my coffee and let this one play out. If you guys have any questions, now's a great time to ask them. And like I said, we still have a lot more games to take a look at. So Ray comes in here. So So like you said, it works in best of 1, but not in best of 3. With some changes, help to make it work in best of 3. I think that like when you're making a aggressive team like this for best of 3, it's just a different team. Could you make this team work in a best of 3? Probably not. Probably not. This is definitely a best of 1 team. But because once they figure out it's not even that like it uses all these weird speed controls of different Maximon, they know that like the whole team is built around enabling Specs Ogre. Would Sucker Punch KO Wims at this range? I think it might have. But they never went for it. That's the thing, is like that whole reason why I tailwinded that turn before was to scout for the Sucker. That's why I tailwinded. In addition to enabling the rest of the team. So, yeah. Do you think Ray is viable in best of 3? It's hard to say. I don't think so, realistically. It depends on like what level of best of 3, right? If you're playing an online tournament, probably it's fine. But like at a regional, what you're gonna fight is when you fight against like Wolf Glicks, Aaron Trailers, Aaron Zangs, all those people like that, like a high level best of 3. Yo, thank you for the sub, appreciate it. I do appreciate it. When you fight against the really high level players, they kind of abuse the fact that like Ray doesn't have great stats. Its speed stats way low. It's really Ray's basically like playing with one hand tied behind your back, and there's only one play it can really make, is that switch in and enable the Ogre, right? That's the only thing they can really do. It's not like it was in 2019 and 2016 when Wolf won in Worlds. So it's very different to use Ray now, and the good players basically set up their board states to where they don't lose the game to that, and if you ever bring in the Ray, they punish you super hard for it. So that's the answer to that. But thank you so much for the sub. So this team, what do you think we do against this? They have their own speed control. They have their own fake out. They have potential to redirect with the Dusclops. They have, on paper, they have a lot of cool stuff. They also have a potential like Max or Prankster Thundy. This can go either way. And you see that guy's name. He's the living legend himself. Let's see what we do. It's either Cinderace or Marowak here, and I decided to go with the Cinderace just because I feel like being able to revenge KO a Wims that's at 1 with like a Sucker Punch, or revenge KO a Kyurem with a Sucker. I think a Sucker Punch is really tech on Cinderace. Am I looking forward to the next gen's gimmick? Probably not. I actually don't like having to like relearn everything. Go in on the Dusclops? You could say that. You could say we do something like that. This is a cool game. This is a good game. I'm gonna take a sip of my coffee as we go into the team preview. Or the actual start of the game. How do you go out on Dusclops with this team? What do you do to go out on Dusclops? Is Dusclops even the threat? That's another thing. Or is Kyurem the threat? Kyurem's the one that has super effective moves against both of our restricteds. So, we finally see the Incineroar. The young Incineroar that we've been trying to bait the whole time. That we baited in the first game. And this is what happens when people think they can use Incineroar. Would a Lycanroc be viable? I mean, probably not, but it's up to you guys to try and figure out how to make it work, you know? What the heck does Kyurem do against that? What does it do? This guy even makes the right play. Watch this. This guy, what would you do if you're the opponent? You'd probably fake out the Wims and go for like a big Life Orb or Specs boosted. You could Hailstorm it, right? Or you could just go right into the Ogre, right? So you could also fake out the Ogre and go all in on the Wims, which is probably more dicey. You see the Rage Quit happens right here. A sign of what to come. So this guy actually, he Rage Quit here. Once he saw the Max Wims, he knew what I was about. He actually makes the right play and fake outs the Ogre, which like I was really surprised. I was planning on getting a double. But remember how I said this team? What did I say? It checks everything under a 116 base speed. I wonder why I said that. Kind of because it does, right? So everyone's like, what is your Kyurem answer? What is your Palkia answer? It's like, I don't know. Maybe I just max my Life Orb freaking boosted Fairy type and just one-shot the crap out of everything. So what would I do against Solgaleo? What would I do against Solgaleo Palkia? I don't know, you know. And why didn't he max a Kyurem? He wouldn't have died. Well, we're going to find out. And right about... Best of Thundy was cool. Defiant, we saw standard. Choice specs. Like we analyzed. Like I analyzed, at least, through the team preview. So, he made the correct play and then Rage Quit. Yeah. So, look at this! We're fighting against someone that's like using the Marowak tech. Marowak's a good mon. Right? Marowak's a good mon. I like Marowak. Yeah, Walkenberry Kyogre is actually kind of popular because it beats Solgaleo right now. But this guy's a cool team too, right? Good Trick Room core. They have Gastrodon. Like, this guy has it, right? How does the team handle Max Solgaleo? You just one-shot it with a Kyogre, it's dead. It's dead. Helping Hand Spout kills it. But, I mean, you can also use Marowak. Helping Hand Marowak would kill the Solgaleo as well. So, anyways. This guy's a cool team, right? It'd be a shame. It'd be a shame. See, because the hard matchups come when people are using like Alekis, Shadow Riders, and Zacian, because those are the 3 Pokemon with Pheromosa that outspeed my control. This team's within my zone of control. And it doesn't even have any fake out users. Like, we're talking about teams this one just sends to the freaking Shadow Realm. This guy's lining up to go to the Shadow Realm. First way express ticket. Right to the Shadow Realm. Let's just get into this one. There we go. Ghost? That's what he's about to be in a sec. Right? So, we're going into the game. And, what do you think they lead with? P2 Amoonguss. Oh, so good, right? I would use Redirection, and I would use Trick Room. And then I will win. I don't know about that one, Chief. And this guy's like, well, I may just switch into my Gastrodon, and then I will spoil your Kyogre. And that plays around the taunt play, which would also have been a good play. Or would it? Are we just that good that we can punish everything? Yes, we are. Remember, this team underspeeds. It just kind of lines up to die, right? You also can't redirect the, you can't redirect the Whims, because I'm a grass type. So, I was really surprised to see no Gastro switch in, but it didn't matter, you know what I mean? I really thought I was going to see the Gastro switch in Spore into my Kyogre. I thought that would have been a really good play from their end, but whatever. The only thing that would have, like, you know, I think that would have been just a good play from them, for their side, but it doesn't matter. They go for the Rage Powder. They thought I was probably going to max the Ogre if I was going to max anything, or maybe they were just hoping I didn't have Taunt, but either way, it's like, bruh, that's so much damage. Like, Life Orb Whims is such a freaking bully. It is. It's such a bully. It's so good. And then you just slap him in the mouth with the biggest spout the world's ever seen. Doing over half to an Amoonguss out here. That's a lot, yo. And what are you gonna do, bring Gastrodon? See, it's like, I'm Whimsicott. You know, that's the thing. That's what makes this team kind of tick. This team enables Whimsicott to be played at such a different way that, like, the world just ain't ready, you know? Like, what do you do? Like, what is this guy thinking? He's like, I have the Gastrodon. I can check the Kyogre. And it's like, I'm Whimsicott, bro. Like, good luck, Chuck. Whimsicott big bully, that's right. Easy. You can max it, you can do whatever you want, you know? Don't even max it, doesn't even matter. And I get a steroid that can enable me to hit your next mon for even more damage. It would still KO even through Rindo, by the way. That's one of the reasons why we're still orbed. I love Orb Whimsicott, it's just so good. Whims OP, yep. And so do I think this is going to break the game? No, I do not. I don't even think this is like really that good. But what I wanted to do was make a team that shows that you guys can do these things too and think outside the box and like build something to put yourself in a position where you guys are dictating play and pinning things. Wouldn't Fake Out a Lucky beat this lead? How? How does that beat it? Like, what does a Lucky even do? Think about it. Like, we have so many different mons. Like, we don't have to just... That's the thing. We don't have to just throw all these mons into it. We also don't even have to, like, stay with the Ogre. Like, we have an Marowak in the back. We have an Indeedee in the back. We also don't have to, like, lead that way into those teams. Like, if I was playing someone that was good, I might want to go, like, Indeedee Kyogre and just redirect, soak the spout, and get a double KO, right? Or I might want to just, like, go with whatever the hell I want, you know? I could just spam Airstreams into that Anyways, we take that one. Easy. Let me try to remember what happened in this game. I do not remember. Oh, this guy misplayed. This guy misplayed. I think this is a misplay from this guy, because this guy actually had a cool team. Kyogre full speed. It's almost full speed. Does Wims just airstream to give the speed? Wims has Tailwind, but Wims also airstreams to give Kyogre the outspeed to speed. It doesn't outspeed like Zacian's and Kyogre's at a plus. Sorry, Zacian's and Calyrex is a +1, but it almost does. How would you handle a Palkia Entity Weed? So the thing is, it's like, I've talked about this before. So I'll talk about it again. How would you handle Palkia Entity? Where am I seeing Palkia Entity? Have we seen a Palkia Entity? Like, you got to think about the teams that you're building are like, what is it? The teams that you're building are going to be used for the situations in which you build them, right? There's counters to everything. But how would I counter a Palkia Entity? I'd probably go Entity Ogre, and I know that I'm going to outspeed it, because like they're going to Trick Room, right? That's what you're saying? And I go Spout, Helping Hand, and I would KO your Entity, assuming it's a Psychic Seed. And I'd do probably about 45% to your Kyogre. And then next turn, I'd protect my Entity. I'd go for another Spout. I'd probably lose the Kyogre. And then I'd bring in my Marowak. Remember, your Entity's gone. And if it wasn't, I would probably make sure it was gone with my Kyogre that turn. And then I would just max my Marowak, and I'd one-shot your Palkia. And if you had a Solgaleo or a Calyrex, it wouldn't matter, because I'm Marowak, you know? So you've been playing off stream so people didn't snipe you. You understand. You understand the tech. Playing off stream on an alt account? Oh man, I get away with so much shit, you know? But yeah, I think this guy timed out, because he's going to make a really weird play. And he's going to use Protect Follow Me, which means he probably just mistimed it and got auto-selected. But then the rest of the game is actually kind of cool. And we also are a fan if we take those. Like, he's probably thinking like, crap, you know? At this point, we don't even need to like, I don't remember if we maxed the Wims. Yeah, we do max Wims this game. Just so we can start building Kyogre speed control up. Because the way it's going to work is right now, this is a really good example to explain this. Right now, there's a Porygon Clefairy on the board, which means there's currently no Zacian or any other fast mounts, because he does have those. So what we want to do is actually Airstream right now, because yes, this one Airstream will not allow Kyogre to outspeed Zacian, but next turn, if I Airstream another Pokemon, it will give Kyogre the +2, and Wims will outspeed the Zacian at +1. So that's how it works. So, like I said, I think he ran out of time, but it didn't matter what he did. It did not matter at all what he did. We had the KO, even on like Frengar Max PZ, I'm pretty sure we still had the OHKO. Considering we can like one-shot Porygon 2, right? But, yeah, the Airstream here on Wims gives Wims and Kyogre speed boost, and if you send out Zacian, Wims just Airstreams either the Zacian or the Zacian's teammate, gets a second speed boost and onto the Kyogre, and you can one-shot the Zacian from there. So they go for that, you know. And I originally targeted the Porygon, remember, but they followed me, so it didn't matter. But yeah, for everyone saying, like, how would you handle this lead? How would you handle this lead? Like, I don't have to lead with my Kyogre. You know, I'm just showing you the times that I do, right? I'm just showing you how to play the team, right? I can lead with so many different things. I can lead Cinderace. I could pop some Max Darkness on things. I could do so many other cool things. I could bring Whimsicott out in the back. But yeah, I think they go Zacian here or Rilla. I don't remember what else they have, but like, we're basically in just an amazing spot here. Zacian, yeah. So it's like, that's free. Easy freezy. Beautiful. Zacian. So when in doubt, just Spout out. I'm pretty sure I hit the P2 because it protects on cooldown. And we already are calced to be able to KO Zacian. Even with like spread damage, Spout KOs bulky Zacian. So we just be taking those. The thing that I like most about this team is that like I basically wrote down all these things for like a Patreon post. I wrote out like all of these little pins that we've created out in my head before playing any games with this team. You know, I just looked at the Pokemon that gave Kyogre problems, and then I built a team that baited those into coming 100% of the time, so I know that they'd be there, and if I know exactly what my opponent's going to have, their speed control, I know exactly how to beat it. It's not that hard. You just look at the base stats, look at the speed control, stuff like that. Easy peasy. So they max the P2. And Airstream Ds. Look how much that does. See, yeah, we would have still one-shotted it even if it maxed with a spout. Like a non-stabbed Airstream is doing that much. And this allows the Kyogre now to outspeed both of those guys. And yeet. Oh, yeah. See, people think they're fine versus Kyogre, and they're not fine. And I think this guy had a Gastrodon. If I don't remember correctly. But what would Gastrodon have done? You know? Calyrex. Nice Calyrex, bro. So, yeah, Zacian and Calyrex. Ain't got nothing. Big spout. And like I said, I'm pretty sure that they timed themselves to 1, but it's fine. Is there rental code? The rental code's going to be on Patreon in a couple days. I haven't made it yet. But yeah, the rental code will be up on Patreon at the start of this week. So we take those. Yes, Kyogre's still scary. Put some respect, you know. So going into this game, right? We see a Ray, right? We see a Gastrodon. We see a Zapdos, right? It's going to be hard. But we also see, remember, 3 of those Pokemon, for the most part, are Pokemon that we've tunneled them into having, right? Incin, Gastrodon, Zacian. We can handle anything at Zapdos' speed tier because it's under Whimsicott's gaze. Like, if you eat Incin Zap, I'm going Airstream Spout. You're going to lose both your Mons turn 1, and I'll have the speed control to then pin your Zacian Ray in the back, or your Gastrodon Zacian, right? You'll lose the game in 2 turns if you do that. I don't remember what they do here. Kyogre puts you in a position where you have to try your hardest to survive that Onslaught first turn. But, like, even if you do, you don't, you know? Because, like, I'm getting the speed control. Like, I'm not relying on Max to play the long game. I'm using the Max to elevate my Kyogre so it can carry. Haircut, how's it going? What's the best option to counter Zacian? Most people would probably just say Incin, but, like, I think Zacian can be pinned by aggressive forms of speed control. You could also use something like a Marowak. Marowak, great for Zacian. Marowak's, like, really, really good for Zacian. So we're just going to go into this one. So that guy has the Gastrodon, he has the Incin, like, he's like, I got this, bro. I can even turn off your rain if I want to. And I'm like, okay. Pop off. I don't remember how this game goes. I realistically just do not remember how this game goes at all. So we'll see. Incin Zacian. We meet again. Incin Zacian. Oh boy. Yeah, I don't remember how this game goes. I might lose this one. I think I might. I don't remember. But, like, I'm not that upset about it, right? So let's see what they do here. We're gonna... I don't remember if I might Origin Pulse this game. I think I Spout. I think I still Spout. But I'm really thinking about it here. Yo, thank you for the follow. Appreciate it. Yeah, we just gotta switch in the Marowak, I think. No, what do we... I don't remember what we do at all. But you can see I'm, like, floundered. I'm like, Yeah, I definitely Origin Pulse here. I'm trying to remember this one. This is definitely, like, the Origin Pulse win. Yeah, this is such a crazy turn. Oh, yeah, I remember this one exactly. This guy's good. Not good enough. Watch this. That was a bad turn for me, right? That was a bad turn. I floundered. I almost ran out of time. Like, ugh. That's what's on my schedule for, and so I'm here. No, this team has a lot of bad matchups. It does. Something like a Quash Sable, I would take this out. It's not unbeatable. So, he takes out my Whims. Look at this. I lose the Whims turn 1. Like, great fake out of the Whims. And I was like, if you go after my Kyogre, I get something, right? But you go after the... But I can't believe you just ignored the Kyogre, bro. You just gonna ignore Kyogre? You gonna ignore Kyogre like that? Never lucky. Ignore Kyogre. SMH. What a good player. I lost my max turn 1. See, that's the sort of shit. Like, when you're playing a hyper-aggressive team, sometimes, unless you're, like, frame perfect, you risk losing everything. Like, even though I got a double KO there, I crit the instant, obviously I didn't need it, but, that was a bad turn. That was a really bad turn. You have to play so perfectly with these teams that when you don't do something that's, like, really perfect, you look like you're terrible. And this is a hard turn here. This is a real hard turn, right? This guy has a lot of good stuff in the back. We know there's a Gastro back there, and we're pretty sure there's a Ray. So we see the Gastro, right? We see the Ray. Now, how would you play out of this? What would you do if you were me? Professional Pokemon player, THATSAplusONE. What would you do? How would you get out of this situation? We're locked into Origin Pulse. It's not even Spout. And there's no more rain because there's 2 Rays turning it off. I think the good play here is to switch in the Marowak and just try and go for the Draco. Right? And if they take out the Ray, we'll have a board that's Kyogre Marowak, and then I'll show you how to win from there. Is Zygarde viable? I don't think so. But like a lot of people seem to think it can. I think Garchomp's just better. How's it going? So we switch in the Marowak. Marowak's poo-poo-doo-doo here, but like, we got to get Kyogre not using Origin Pulse, right? So they decided to max Ray. And the reason why we sent out the Ray in that slot on the right instead of Marowak was because we needed to have 2 threats for Ray to target, right? We needed to tunnel that Ray into guaranteeing that he would deal with our Ray. Right? We had to take the max move on this slot. Super important. If we would have lost our Marowak this turn, we would have lost the game. We can arguably imagine what that Gastro is using. Earth Power wouldn't do that much to an Ogre. We know it's going to yawn, right? We know that it's going to yawn, and I'm so excited to see that Life Orb. I can tell you that right now. So, if you were a professional Pokemon player, THATSAplusONE, you lost your max turn 1, you got dumpstered that last turn. What do you do here? How do you play out? When in doubt, y'all know the move. How many of you guys are a fan of James Eeks and his emotes? So I'm thinking about it. I'm like, there's only one move that could save us here. Then what will save us? Ally switch it out. Let's go. Let's go. I'll put some ally switch emotes up. I think I have Eeks' emotes, right? Where's Eeks? Let's go. Let's put him up. Put him up. Let's go. Ally switch D's, right? And then, so this turn you're going to go into the Kyogre slot, which is now a Marowak. And unfortunately, we lose Marowak, which it was going to go to sleep anyway, so it didn't matter. And that's the power of Life Orb Ray. It's the strongest Airstream in the game, right? So, Ray's down. Sorry, Marowak's down. But you know who's also down? Ray. Oh my goodness. Yeet. That's a lot of damage. That's a lot of damage. Now, we're still not out of it, though, right? We're still not out of it. We still gotta... Look at this. Oof. It's good damage. And we know they're gonna yawn us. So we got shots to crit. We got shots to freeze. And remember, we did all that just to lock ourselves into Ice Beam. How would a duo of Palkia Reshiram be? It sounds like it would lose to any dragon attack. It's not terrible, it's just they don't have any speed control, really. They don't have, like, a ton of presence. They're both very reactive. So they get Yawn off here. Obviously, you're just going to go for Protect, get the lefties tick. And basically, what this guy should be doing here is I have to go to sleep, like, this turn or next turn, right? So, I have to go to sleep this turn, and then I have to be asleep the next turn. So if you got to recover, you would obviously pop that. I don't think he has recover, because he showed Earth Power. So that means you want to go for, like, 1 Earth Power, and then just spam Yawn. And then wait till I go to sleep and Protect. So you don't, like, let me get multiple, like, chances to wake up. Because if I wake up and hit you with an Ice Beam on the first turn, and you don't Yawn me right back after getting your 1 free Earth Power, which you're guaranteed to get right here, I lose, you know? So, like, right here, I have to be asleep. So that's your what is it? I have to be asleep. Sorry, right here, I have to be asleep. So this guy can go for 1 Earth Power. He gets 1 of them. Or a Scald, or you wouldn't Scald here. You just Earth Power and hope for specialty drops. So I have to be asleep. That's the way Yon works. So there's your Earth Power. And so if you're ever the Gastrodon in this situation, you take your 1 Earth Power that you got there, you take your leftovers tick, and you just use Yon until I wake up. You may be saying, like, but you're probably just going to stay asleep. It's like, that's fine. You know, you're getting leftovers tick. That's value. You could even, like, protect here if you wanted, but I highly don't say that. You know, you just go for, you should just yawn here, right? Because it would force me to have won the game that turn. I would have been forced to freeze or crit you that turn. Because imagine if you yawn me right there, protect, you got a second tick of your leftovers, and then you protect it with another tick of your leftovers, and I go right back asleep, right? He didn't do that, so I'd be taking those in a game where I threw it, and I played so sloppily. But, like, sometimes we just do be taking those, you know? Would not have gotten away with that at a regional at all. So, we take them. I take them. Pretty sure that was the game that got me to Master Ball on my alt account. Don't ignore Kyogre. Yeah, don't do it. So he's thinking about it. He's like, crap, this Kyogre does like 60% with an Ice Beam. It's big specs. And we take those wins. Not today, Gastrodon. And we just be loving to see that. All right. All right, so I got a couple more cool games to show you guys. These are my crown achievements. Everyone's like, how do you beat Solgaleo? Solgaleo, so good. Solgaleo, it's Solgaleo. Watch out for Solgaleo. It's so good. And it's like, is it though? Like, is it good? I don't know about that one. We still bring the Marowak. I like Marowak here in case you Trick Room me. Marowak checks Groudon in the Sun. It checks Venu. It checks Uthundy. Hard. We're good, right? So watch this. Watch this one. This is the crowning achievement of what this team can accomplish if you're the best person that's ever played the game. This game right here. This is the, once you've played enough games to understand how this team works, this is the sort of shit you can pull off. This game's busted. So you go Riolu Soul. What's he gonna do, guys? What does Riolu Soul do? We just got done showcasing a team with Riolu Soul. What does this team do? Right? What does it do? Everyone knows what this team does, right? What does it do? It clicks Max Guard the Soul Copycat Trick Room, right? That's what this team does. So we need to do a thing that stops that, right? And let's say they like max and just go for like a max lightning with Kyogre. They're not going to do that. You know why they're not going to do that? Because we have a Marowak on the team, right? Everyone's like, what does Marowak add to the team? That's what it adds to the team. It makes it so souls, you know, things that people say I have no checks for, can't check me, right? You say max coaching, you would die to the Kyogre. It will kill you. So don't do that. And if it didn't kill you, it would get you low enough to get killed by something else, right? But realistically, the way to stop this, right, is, and the reason why we let Whim here is because it has a priority move, and that's Tailwind. So we're actually going to get a Tailwind up here, which seems kind of scary going into a pseudo TR-ish team, but we're not going to let them get the TR up that way. They'd have to click the hard class TR. They'd have to go like just hard TR or like wide guard, which means they can't TR. So like worst case scenario, you're not getting Trick Room up this turn. There's no way in hell that this Trick Room goes up this turn, right? I've covered every single way. Is Dusknoir a good Pokemon? It's better in BDSP, but it's usable. It's usable. It is. Friska's a good ability. So you max the Soul, right? And he protects the Riolu, which I thought was super weird. Yeah, pop off, Chief. Like, go nuts. So Tailwind's up. And realistically, they should not be going for a wild charge. They shouldn't. Fake out TR, what I would do in front of Whimsicott. See, you can't fake out this Whimsicott because it would max and kill you. Someone already tried that earlier. They died. You go back and watch the VOD. They died. So, good damage to Kyogre. Good damage. Really, really good damage. Ain't no one saying that's bad damage. And you got a Spadef boost. Good stuff. Good play. Right? He's going to make another good play here. Now, remember, he could still go Max Guard TR. He could still do it, right? Don't get, like, just because they don't do it on the first turn doesn't mean they can't do it on the second one. This is the turn. If I was him, I'd Max Guard TR the shit out of me right now. We're not going to let him do it, right? We're just going to try and stick some damage. And I have to click Tailwind again so I can make it so he'd fail his Copycat. You have to. And so he decides to switch in the Groudon, which I'm like, oh man. So like, I also think though right there that me clicking Tailwind was a good play. I think it was a great play, me clicking Tailwind in that situation, just to stop the potential for max guard TR. So they switch in the Groudon, and we go max Kyogre. Big max Ogre. Oh man, I'm so good at Pokemon. To say that I set this up, like, this turn is like half right. I'm like, it'd be really funny if things ended up the way that I wanted them to end up. But you're going to see some cool stuff. You're going to see some cool stuff. Like, I'm not going to lie, after that second Tailwind, even though it didn't, like, work to copycat them, like, I was feeling myself. I was feeling it. It's good damage to that Groudon, and the Rain's now active, which means even if you max quick into the into the Kyogre, I could just double into your Soul and take it out. And you steal Spikes. You take out the Whims, but that opens up a slot, right? That opens up a slot for a good Pokemon. Like a good Pokemon. Like a really good Pokemon. Oh, man. Oh. Oh, it's going to be so good. You know we have to go Ray. You can't go Marowak. Don't do it. Don't do it past THATSAplusONE. I know you're thinking about it. You have a Tailwind up. You're in a good spot. Gotta go Ray. You gotta do it. This is where I was thinking to myself, like, there's no way in hell this is going to work. Some things do be working like this, though. So. What happens here? What do you guys think happens here? You have a Groudon and a Solgaleo in the rain, but the rain is technically not there. The rain is not there. What do you do? And if you're the opponent? What do you do? If I were to, like, if Ray disappears for any reason, like if I just switch in Marowak, the sun will come up because it'll be like Groudon's sun will activate, right? Right? I think that's how that would work. You'll see what happens. Actually, I don't even remember that's what happened. But like, watch what happens. Watch what happens. Because I know you can't max guard. There's no protect. It's a Specs Ogre that maxed. Everyone kept asking me what my check for Solgaleo was. Everyone kept asking, how do you beat Solgaleo? You can't beat Solgaleo. Alright. The Groudon, so we switch out, knowing that Groudon has to switch. So we know Groudon has to switch. It has to switch. It would just die to the Ogre. We could just kill it. We could just hit it right in the mouth, right there. And then you got nothing. Right? Nice Riolu. This is a lot. You can't go max guard TR anymore. We get our Geyser up. It's not going to get the KO. But we put him within range to go down to anything we want the next turn. Bruh. Easy. Easy. How was I able to do that? I was able to do that because we didn't... That guy had 2 chances to fish for the max guard TR. He not once max guarded TR, and I can tell for a fact that looks like vested damage to me. He doesn't have Trick Room. He has additional coverage moves. Got nothing. I don't remember if I switch in Ray here, but like it doesn't matter, you know? Gotta sit on that Marowak. Marowak's the answer. The truth. You just bring it in. The one turn. You're like, well, he could have done that like all game. It's like, and he didn't do it all game. So we take those. Easy. Easy.